The coaching skill tree in College Football 25 can be very overwhelming, especially since the max level is 50 and you can't just respec your coach later on. This makes every choice way more important and way more valuable because you can't just change things up later into your dynasty. So in today's video, we're going to be discussing the top 5 coach skills to go after that are going to give you the best dynasty experience possible. Whether you're playing with a low-ranked team or a high-ranked team, there is something in this video for you that's going to make your dynasty experience way better. Starting off with number 5, we're going to be discussing the motivator. The master motivator is also good, but we're going to be focusing more so on the motivator tab. The perk of this is you get a bigger experience gain when a player levels up. Very nice to have that. You'll also notice that every single coaching skill has some kind of perk that comes with it. So when you can, it's also pretty good to just have a handful of these, even if you don't really put points into them, to get those experience boosts. As you can see, Architect, you get a yearly experience for records held by a player you coach. The Talent Developer, you get bonus experience when a player maxes a skill group. A lot of these things are going to happen naturally anyway, so you might as well get the experience boost that comes with these perks. So keep in mind that for a lot of these perks, it's kind of by position, and so it's going to be what you value the most with your team. Some people are more offensive focused, some people are more defensive focused, some people want to balance with their squad. Me, I'm very much a running player, and I care a lot about my defense. In this specific league, I'm with Oklahoma, so I wanted to focus more on my wide receivers and tight ends, but usually I'm going running back, DBs, and defensive linemen. But this is all personal preference. Do with this as you will. We're going to focus on 2 things here. Well, actually, technically 3. So the tier 1 of these motivator abilities is okay. We get bonus experience for defensive linemen when they're drafted in the top 3 rounds. But this is not something that happens super often. It's a decent little experience gain. I don't know the exact numbers on it, but it's a nice boost. But you have to already be playing on a very solid team with great players to get much value out of that first tier. The reason we want to progress through this motivator is actually for tier 2, 3, and 4. So tier 2, our defensive linemen stay hot through timeouts, quarter changes, and across games. This is super nice because it keeps your players that are playing well, it keeps them hot through all the games and through all the situations. So if you have a player that breaks out in the first quarter and is playing really well, he's probably going to play well for the rest of the game and possibly even into the next game. So keeping these players hot and keeping their attributes boosted in games is going to give you a nice little boost to help you win more football games. Tier 3, defensive linemen get an offseason training boost. This is super nice, and this is actually the main reason I focus on the motivator early, is because I want those offseason training boosts. The players progress a ton in the offseason, and way more if you have these bonuses in the Tier 3. So as you can see, I have the defensive lineman one, the DB, and the receiving game one. The most underrated ability in the motivator tab to me is the Tier 4 locked-in ability, specifically for your defensive line and your defensive backs. If you're in a close game, these skilled positions can start the quarter hot in the fourth quarter in close games. So valuable. Having every DB on the field with a boost, whether it's man coverage, zone coverage, pursuit. Same for defensive linemen, getting faster block sheds, better pursuit, better tackling. These boosts are so valuable and can really swing the game in your favor. So definitely don't neglect these tier 4 skill trees in the motivator tab. Hope you're enjoying the content. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. And go follow me on Twitter because I just posted 10 tips to help you have a better Dynasty experience. I'm also going to be giving away a $25 gift card to Xbox or PlayStation Store next week for anybody follow me over on Twitter. So I'd hate for you to miss out on that. Number 4 is the Talent Developer. This is very good for honestly all Dynasties, but especially the ones that are playing on a low-ranked team, the 1-star, 2-star, 3-star programs, where you can't always get the 4-star and 5-star players. Specifically, Tier 3 and 4 are absolute difference makers for your dynasty. Lower rated defensive backs will progress faster. Tier 4 starting defensive backs will gain experience faster. So basically your entire defensive secondary is getting boosted to their experience at a quicker and faster rate. This is so nice because you can't always have the big 4-star, 5-star gem players that are progressing at record speeds. So being able to develop the lower rated players on your team and turn them into studs later into the dynasty, so valuable. So do not neglect these. Again, always go after the position you care about the most. For me, it's defensive backs, linemen, running backs, wide receivers. The skilled positions, quarterbacks obviously are very nice to have, but sometimes the difference between the 80 overall quarterback and a 90 can be, I wouldn't want to say minuscule, but you're going to notice more from your highly rated DBs and defensive linemen than you're going to notice from like your offensive linemen or your tight ends sometimes. Go after the skilled position is going to make a difference on every single play as opposed to just a play here and there. So for number 3, this is the Architect, and this is actually one I slept on for a while. It actually loses quite a bit of value at tier 3 and tier 4 if you're a lower ranked team, but for tier 1 and 2, you get additional experience for in-game goals. This stuff is usually really easy to hit. You're going to be always getting these in-game goals, and then you also get a chance to increase a random skill cap when leveling up. Tons of experience is on the board for this skill tree, and then if you're a powerhouse team like Georgia, Alabama, Texas, whoever else, this tier 3 and tier 4 can give you massive experience gains. You get an additional XP bonus for every 3-game win streak, and you also get a chance to increase your best skill cap with a conference or national title. So if you can win games, and if you're a top-ranked team that's really powering through other squads, you can really progress your team at very fast speeds and get these players capped out quicker. The experience boost from this stuff is just, so valuable. You've got 4 specific tiers giving you experience for different things. If you're a low-ranked team, focus on tier 1 and 2. If you're a top-ranked team, try to go through all 4 of these tiers because there is so much experience on the board for this. And at the number 2 spot, it's the Scheme Guru. If this was based just solely on my opinion, I would put this number 1. But the number 1 spot has such a valuable, strong ability that I can't put this over it and feel good about it. But the Scheme Guru is so good. Even just the Tactician, the first tier, is very good as well. We have things like boosting our DB's man coverage and zone coverage, finesse move, hit power, power move. Same thing for quarterbacks. You got like throw on the run, throw under pressure, accuracy stuff. The first tier is very, very nice. But what's so valuable with this skill tree is the actual Scheme Guru itself, which is the bottom abilities you see here. So there's a ton here to work with and a ton of very valuable things. Again, I'm a defensive person, but specifically, even if you're not a defensive person, you care more about your offense, go after this pass game defense. This right here, to me, is probably the best skill ability you can have in the entire game. So at every single upgrade, you have increased chances of knockouts at certain spots of the field. At tier 1, you get increased knockout chances on passes 10 yards or less. Tier 2, it's the same thing, but for 20 yards down the field. At tier 3, you have an increased knockout chance for passes anywhere on the field. This means that whether you're in zone or man coverage, you basically have zone KOs all over the field without the reaction time. If you've played Madden, you know what I'm talking about. Basically, your players will hit the wide receivers and they will drop the football way more often. This just adds so much value to your defense that you can get more turnovers, more stops, and not have to blitz every single play to get turnovers because they may actually just drop the football sometimes. And, it's a 3rd and 10. They throw a nice little pass. He catches it, 15 yards down the field. He gets hit by a safety or cornerback, drops the football, their drive is over. That is so, so nice for your defense, and I strongly advise you that if you get nothing else in this skill tree, to get the pass game defense. Another one that's really good if you're a strong team that's in the top 25 toughest places to play is the tier 1 and 2 of the discipline and communication skill tree. Slightly increased effects from crowd noise at home is very, very nice, but tier 2, you get a massive increase to your effects of crowd noise at home. This makes it, especially for playing against other users, their routes are going to be squiggly. They can't see their hot routes. They can't make hot routes. It's going to be a miserable time playing on your home field against you. You want this very badly, especially if you're a user versus user player. But even against the computer, the crowd noise stuff does matter, and it does make them make mistakes. They will have turnovers, so definitely focus on this as well. And then just as a side note, there is other skill trees you can go after that kind of fit your playstyle. Things like fast tempo offense. If you like to run hurry up a lot, they have things like players will fatigue slower in hurry up. You get a chance to see the defensive shell coverage in hurry up. All of this stuff can be very catered to your playstyle. I don't usually run a lot of hurry up. I don't really care about guarding specifically hurry up offense. But this stuff, if you care about it, there is a lot of things you can do to really add value to your squad. Another ability I really like is the ground and pound defense, specifically tier 4. Sometimes you'll see your DBs, linebackers, safeties, they'll get stuck on a block for like what feels like 5 seconds sometimes. This because they can only attempt, a block should attempt every, I don't know the exact time, but every 2 seconds, 3 seconds, whatever it is. At tier 4, this makes it where your players can attempt a block shed more often. So let's just say it's 2 seconds. This time now with this ability, it's maybe 1 second. So they have more block shed opportunities faster, more often. So it helps you stop the run because you have more players across the field attempting block sheds more often. Definitely focus on this if you have the points for it. I know it's kind of expensive. I mean, 8, 16, 24, 32 for one ability. But the stuff that you get at tier 1, 2, and 3 are also good as well. But that tier 4 is the real cherry on top. At the number 1 spot, it has to be the CEO ability. I know this is a long-term goal. You have to win 2 national championships to unlock this. But once you unlock it, the Dream School is insane. As I'm sure most of you already know, if a player has you as their top-ranked school, you have a chance of getting an instant commit when you offer them a scholarship. With this ability, this increases that chance by a ton. Like, I'm talking a ton. I don't have the exact clip, but one time in a Dynasty, once I had this ability unlocked, I was playing with the Texas Longhorns, and I had 20 instant commits on the first week of the Dynasty, which is insane. 4-star players, 5-star players, 3-star players, all instant committed on the first week. This ability right here is super valuable, and you need to go after it. Obviously, you may be thinking, well, I'm like playing with a lower ranked team. I don't have as many top rated players that want to come to my school on the first week. It doesn't matter. By the time you unlock this, you'll probably have at least a somewhat decent team, and you'll probably have enough of a pipeline somewhere where players will want to come to your school and have you ranked number 1. Even if it's 5 to 10 players, this still has a ton of value to get those insta commits. So definitely shoot for this as your top ability. And I'm not going to go into detail about every single one of these CEO abilities. There's a ton of great abilities here. But one specifically I do want to focus on is the gasoline. So every single player on your team, wide receivers, DBs, defensive linemen, heck, even your freaking kicker is going to start hot in top 5, rivalry, bowl, or championship games. So you're already a good team at this point, and then you start off your entire team hot. We don't know the exact boost of what a hot player looks like, but basically your entire team's at bare minimum probably getting a +2, +5 to a lot of their key stats. So definitely shoot for this. Super nice to have on top of the Dream School. I know these are very expensive. 18 skill points is a lot, but it's definitely worth the save for both of these. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more College Football 25 content. And if you enjoyed this video, check out one of my other videos popping up on the screen right now.